Hi there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com, here with a new video series I will be doing weekly called Deck of the Week, Rogue Deck of the Week, and this week I am choosing this awesome modern deck that I came across in the Modern Daily. This particular deck went 3-1 and was piloted by Verena, so congratulations to Verena on this awesome deck. Reminds me of a deck that we used to call Big Red back in Zendikar Scars of Mirrodin blocks. And what it tried to do was ramp into a Koth, and then you could use the Koth next turn, on fourth turn, to ramp into a Wormcoil Engine or Inferno Titan. So this seems to be doing kind of the same thing that Big Red was doing back during that block, and does have the Everflowing Chalice as a way to ramp into a third turn Koth. Also has Boros Signet as the other way that it can ramp into the Koth. I also like the inclusions of Ajani Vengeant. Ajani Vengeant is very, very good right now in the meta. There are a lot of decks that the Lightning Helix on a stick -2 ability for Ajani Vengeant. You can get a lot of card advantage out of Ajani's Vengeant, and his +1 is very similar. Well, it is the same as Tamiyo's, and really, really good if you can get up to the -7 against certain decks that have the Tron lands and whatnot. If you kill any of their pieces, it's very hard for them to come back. This deck is very, very good against decks that run a lot of non-basic lands, as it is playing 3 main-boarded Blood Moons, which we've seen Splinter Twins also use this strategy to kind of have auto wins against some of those like Tron decks that can't handle with the Blood Moons. Especially Blue Tron. RG Tron does have a way to get rid of enchantments, but Blue Tron has a very, very hard time if they cannot counterspell a Blood Moon. It can be just pretty much good game. Anyway, so it also uses 4 Molten Rains. Molten Rains are very good against Scapeshift, very good against Tron. So this deck does, I'm sure, has some amazing matchups main boarded, and then sideboard, of course, they have your typical Rule of Law for eggs, Shattering Spree for affinity, Relic of Progenitus versus anything that is a graveyard recursion, Path to Exile to any one of those creatures that might be annoying, like Baneslayer Angel, also the Combust for Baneslayer Angel, and then a Gaftiger's Cage again against Pod and other type of graveyard or library decks that try to cheat in creatures. And then they got another Wormcoil Engine I'm pretty sure comes in versus aggro. So loving this deck. It does run a 1-of Thundermaw Hellkite. Very good creature, of course. We did see Jund use Thundermaw Hellkite for a little bit there when Lingering Souls was very popular. And with Spectral Procession and Lingering Souls being played more and more in Modern, Thundermaw Hellkite definitely does seem like it's going to find a home in Modern, a permanent home. So anyway, we'll go through the list one more time. We got the 4 Slagstorms and the 2 Pyroclasms. These cards are very good against any sort of aggressive, like Tribal Flames and Tribal Zoo, I guess is what they call it, and like Roguedeckbuilder and a few other decks that are extremely aggressive on these smaller creatures. Between 4 Slagstorms and 2 Pyroclasms, this seems like it's a very, very, very good deck. This deck seems like it's very good against Affinity as well. Then you have the spot removals with Lightning Helixes and Lightning Bolts. And again, the Planeswalkers will be your card advantage. Eventually, if you can get Koth up to his ultimate, it turns all of your mountains into Prodigal Sorcerers. And again, what this deck tries to do is ramp into a third turn Koth, into a fourth turn either Wormcoil or Thundermaw, and go from there. Got the 1 of Devil's Play as an alternate win condition, I'm sure. And these Everflowing Chalices might be able to be multi-kick late game for a lot higher than just a lot of times you just cast it for 2, so it's just another kind of like Boros Signet to ramp into, like I said, that fourth turn Koth. Nothing too special about the lands here. I think I would definitely go up to more Sacred Foundries, but Rugged Prairie's fine. 22 lands, a little bit low, but with the Boros Signets and the Everflowing Chalice, it actually might be a little too high. I don't know. I'd have to play this deck to see. 4 of Arid Mesas, that's pretty usual. And then they've got the 2 of Scalding Tarns, helps thin your deck. I mean, they're not really using these fetch lands other than to get probably just a 1 of Sacred Foundry. It does have the 2 in there just in case you want to cast more than 1 white spell per turn. But yeah, pretty much self-explanatory. I'm loving this deck. I'm glad that he piloted it. 3-1 finish is not too shabby. I don't know what he won against, what he lost against. Check out some of these other decks. It's another 3-1. So the 4-0 decks in this particular tournament, let's see, it was a flash, a UWR flash deck, and that's a very popular deck. And UW Control, another popular deck, and then Pod, and then RG-Tron. I doubt he lost the RG-Tron. It seemed like the RG-Tron is pretty much an auto win for that red deck, as the Blood Moons and the Molten Rains are I'm sure just a nightmare for this deck to try to deal with. And it looks like a Splinter Twin was another winning deck, so it lost to one of these, which is very common. All these are very common decks. You have your basically your 1, 2, 3, and 4 decks here. No Jund in the top finish though. So let's just go back to this deck real quick. Take one look at it again, and then I'll bring it up on MTGO here. It seems like a very, very fun deck to run. Let's see, we'll bring it up here on Magic Online. It's what it looks like on Magic Online. I do need to pick up all these expensive mythics right now to make this deck work. I've got all the lands, which is really, really good. I did switch out of Sacred Foundry for Rugged Prairie, but I do need to pick up before I can pilot these the Wormcoil Engines, Ajani Vengeant. Those run about 6 tickets. These are about 10 tickets each. Thundermaw is expensive. It's about 25 tickets, and I think costs are going for like 6 or 7. But the biggest holdup is these Blood Moons are about 10 tickets a piece too. So as soon as I get these cards, I will definitely try to run it. But for this week, I am going to give this the Rogue Deck of the Week. It's something new and fresh and modern, and I was very excited to see it. So once again, congratulations to Verena for constructing this awesome deck. This is Kevin with RogueDeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.